Hi, good afternoon. Jim Hartman with Secret Garden Bees here, and joining me today is Kathy Cook with Work Vessels for Veterans. She's Executive Vice President, Work Vessels for Veterans. And I asked her to join me today to have a discussion about the Veteran Small Business Enhancement Act. And I'll tell you, if you're a veteran-owned small business and you are not aware of the Veteran Small Business Enhancement Act, that's something I really, really encourage you to take a look at. And I'm going to walk you through why you care and how to get access to it today. Now, Work Vessels for Veterans is a phenomenal nonprofit that helps veteran-owned businesses get access to some of the equipment they need. Of course, the demand always exceeds the supply. So, uh, she's helping us. She's going to join me on this to talk through some of the things that veterans ask for, and also serve as a good foil for me to ask the questions I may not think of. Work Vessels for Veterans was also instrumental in implementing this particular law as it was passed, or as it was implemented through the Small Business Association. All right, so what is the Veteran Small Business Enhancement Act? It was passed in 2018, and its purpose is to give veteran-owned small businesses access to GSA surplus. Now, this is not an auction. This is getting access to the equipment before it goes to auction. It's also not free. You're going to have a service charge, and I'll talk you through that. But it is very, very reasonable. And I'll tell you, access to this program has been the number one thing that has enabled my business to make leaps and bounds forward, because I was able to get equipment without being in debt. Kathy, before we get started, is there anything you'd like to add to this? You're on mute, Kathy.
That better now?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people would like to know what Work Vessels for Vets is, because a lot of people don't know. We're a small nonprofit in the number of people that we have. I'm the executive director, and we have 8 volunteers in addition to me, and we run a program that our only mission is to buy equipment and award equipment to injured veterans who are starting a business. And since 2008, when we transferred a lobster boat to an amputee Marine in Rhode Island who wanted to go into commercial fishing, we've helped 2,500 injured veterans in all 50 states with about $3.5 million worth of equipment. We get it donated to us, or we buy it at a discount, and we can offer tax deductions to the corporations or the donors or the companies. And it's really been a big help to the small guys who are really just trying to get their farms going or get a small business going. And this program we identified early on, along in partnership with the U.S. Veterans Chamber of Commerce, is a program to allow veteran-owned small businesses to have access to the federal surplus equipment system, but not necessarily have to be just contractors with the federal government. These are, you have to qualify the same way a contractor would, but you do not have to be engaged in a contract with federal government in order to be eligible for the equipment. And it's been a big help, I think, for a lot of small guys that are out there trying to get started.
Yeah. And, full disclosure, I've been a beneficiary of a grant from Work Vessels for Veterans. I needed a farm truck, and I was able to make the funding that you provided me go so much further by combining it with getting a truck that needed a little love from this GSA program here that we'll talk about. So there's a lot of ways to help each other. All right, so what I'm going to do, Kathy, is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and kind of talk you through how this works. All right, are you able to see the GSAaccess.gov screen right now?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so the Veteran Small Business Enhancement Act, why do you care? We've talked about it gets you access to equipment. Well, I'm going to show you up front why you care and why you got to do the things that I'm going to show you on the back end that you have to do to get access to this. So once you get certified as a veteran-owned small business through the process I'll talk you through, you're going to get access to this website right here, Gsa Access. This is where all the federal excess property that GSA is responsible for gets posted. We'll talk more about how you get to this one, but we'll come back to this here. And here's a blurb on the Veteran Small Business Enhancement Act right here in the middle of the page that gets you to your state agency surplus officer. Now, once you get certified, you get a login. And that login allows you to get to this page right here. This is where you get to see all of the equipment in the entire country that GSA has as surplus. Now, Kathy, you and I talked a little bit beforehand, and before I go to the things that you mentioned, Work Vessels for Veterans did start as a, as you said, a lobster boat. So I want to show you, just for fun to start. There's actually a category here for boats, and this is a live demonstration. So I want to show you what the things are that are available right now. You never know what you're going to see in here, and it changes, by the way, every 4 days. This rotates through. So, here's a fun one that I think you might be interested in, as a 15-foot Boston whaler.
I have a better need that.
Yeah. So what you do is you get to click on these things and you get to see what they are. You can see where they're at. This one's up in New England. It's owned by USACE. So that's the Corps of Engineers. So it probably hasn't been run too hard. You can see what capability, what it looks like. They post pictures of them, and you can see what condition it's in. You can even reach out to the point of contact and ask them, "Hey, no kidding, can I get a picture of X, Y, Z?" And see that. So, I wanted to start with that one, and show you what some of those are. I think some of them are very amusing. If you happen to want to set up you want a bridging boat, you can get that too, but probably not nearly as useful as the Boston whaler. We also talked, and you said, the number one things that folks are looking for, that typically 50% of your folks are farming equipment, large agricultural equipment. Now, some of that is a little misleading. I'll go ahead and click in the agricultural equipment and supplies. You can see there's 40 items here, and 10 of them have pictures. There's a number of things in here, but what you won't see in the agricultural equipment side is tractors, ever. I don't understand why. I've seen stump grinders, I've seen sprayers. You can see there's a nice little sprayer right there. But the government puts these things in random places. So I found the best place to go is up here in the global search and look for tractors. And then they start coming up. So you can see there's a number of different tractors here. They've categorized some of them as some of these old C's, which no one needs a C unless you want something, a hanger queen. In here, you'll see tractors as in tractor trailer in that. If you search for that, you'll see, oh, that's a good one right there. Full-on backhoes under tractors and trailers. They
and
put
their experience. What do you think? I mean, have these things been rode hard and put away wet, and they just really are not in great condition by the time the government gives them up?
It is all. I've seen them in, as I've been looking at this now through about 7 months, I've seen them in all stages. Some things they're just getting rid of them. Some things are trashed. I found that the important thing is to look at who owns it.
Okay.
Down here in the point of contact. Look, if the Marines are getting rid of it, it's done. Right? You just
Army guy, yeah.
Just walk away, because the Marines have rode that thing and used it for hard. But when you start seeing things that are owned by civilian agencies, like here, this one's up at DLA San Diego. Sometimes they're not in a bad shape. Let's look at the interior of this thing. That's not bad. Especially for a backhoe. I personally got a backhoe through this program in October that was from the National Institute of Safety and Transportation for $500.
Wow.
Now the floor of the cab was completely rusted out. So I had to pull the whole cab apart inside and get in there with a welder and put a new floor in it. And I do quite a bit of maintenance in it. So I've got $8,000 to $9,000 in it, but I got a commercial backhoe.
Yeah.
So Um, fun fact here is if you search for tractor, this website categorizes bulldozers as tractor, full tracked, slow. So I've seen full on D11s in here that you can go get. But if you want a little D7 for your farm, you can get that too. Now there are a few just like normal tractors here. This is an 86 John Deere. Looks like it's at the Undersecretary for Science, so it probably hasn't been used hard. It's probably sat most of its life. It's not in great shape, but that's probably a 50 horsepower tractor. So you can give it a little bit of love. That would be look, it comes with a detachable front end loader. That's not a bad piece of machinery. And you see them in all shapes and sizes in here. Everything from this little international harvester from 1900, probably in something, to some of the much bigger ones. Now, here's an important thing about this program. So there's a column here called reimbursable. It says that's what that REMIMB stands for. That means that the way they've posted it means they want some money from the government agency that gets it. And I'll tell you the way the program is set up, and it's not the program's fault. It is literally the way the government transfers money's fault. If there's an X in the reimbursable column, we can't get it. We veteran-owned organizations, we can't have it because there's just no mechanism in place to actually move or transfer money to pay for it. And that's just the government accounting system, which is really unfortunate because a lot of the things that are reimbursable are some of the really nicer stuff, like this really nice tractor here.
That meant to go to the states then?
No, the states can't even get them because there's just no mechanism for the states to transfer money in GSA's system for federal property. It's only federal agency to federal agency through GFIBS is the system they use. It just doesn't work. So just accept that if there's a X in reimbursable, you can't have it.